mobility and blindness can be caused by parasites, some of them confined to forms of vertical area. This is the list of parasites which can involve eye. The protozoa most common is Toxoplasma and Acanthamoeba. I'll restrict my talk to most common parasites involving cornea, Acanthamoeba and Microsporidia. Infection of the cornea due to various etiological agents is a leading cause of corneal blindness worldwide. The etiological agent varies significantly according to geographic location. Although it constitutes very little proportion of all microbial keratitis, however, the treatment poses a challenge for the ophthalmologist. Coming to Acanthamoeba, it is one of the most commonly living found in the environment. It exists in two forms. One is sexually reproduced trophozoite form and dormant double cystic form. The trophozoite feed mostly on bacteria and fungi. Microsporidia are small, obfuscates or forming unicellular eukaryotes that mutate broad as the cortigrade and incortigrade. First, it was described in European Silicoensis. In human, it affects gastrointestinal, sinus, pulmonary, muscular, renal, and eye. The first case of ocular microsporiasis was described at Western University in 1973. The objective of our study was to find out the incidence and epidemiology of parasitic keratitis, clinical features and risk factor of parasitic keratitis, lab investigation for the diagnosis of parasitic keratitis, treatment of patients with parasitic keratitis and its outcomes. The questions we plan to answer is that any disparity in clinical and neurologic profile of parasitic keratitis between India and the rest of the world, what is the risk factor involved in Acanthamoeba keratitis, what is the treatment outcome of Acanthamoeba keratitis, what is the clinical course of Microsporidium superficial keratoconjunctivitis, is epithelial debridement going to help in early prevention of keratoconjunctivitis, do superficial keratoconjunctivitis progress to stromal keratitis by performing debridement, do adenovirus and Microsporidia coexist in corneal region of superficial keratoconjunctivitis, can a non-invasive procedure like conjunctival swab can be used for diagnosis of Microsporidia superficial keratoconjunctivitis. This was a retrospective analysis between July 2006 to June 2012 conducted in LV Prasad Eye Institute in Mysore. Coming to Acanthamoeba keratitis, we collected the record of all cases where stapling was positive or Acanthamoeba cyst in direct microscopy and or culture. We included the data of demographic information, pages history, clinical features, smear and culture result of corneal stapling and culture and histopathology of corneal and treatment outcome. We did a sequence examination of taking history. Visual acuity was recorded. The history included cheek complaint, duration of symptoms, history of contact incidents, history of any trauma, history of exposure to brackish water or any prior medication. We documented the size of epithelial defect, size and depth of stromal infiltrate, nature of the infiltrate, any leakages, presence of phytopion and any involvement of steroid. After putting local anesthesia, the 15-number tray we took corneoscopy. As per our institute protocol, all microbial keratitis we normally take 2 smears for Ramstein or Ginsa or potassium hydroxide. And in solid media we take blood agar, chocolate agar, SDA and MNA, and liquid media BHI and carbon. These are various temperature used for information of various media used for diagnosis of microbial keratitis. So diagnosis of Acanthamoeba keratitis was made if the cyst of Acanthamoeba demonstrated in any of the smear or the culture was positive or negative. Normally the trophozoite trap to the NNA with a nuclei overlay, we can move the trap which can be seen under direct microscope. The patients underwent therapeutic keratoplasty. Cornea was divided into 2 halves, half was sent to microbiology and half was sent to histopathological evaluation. In microbiology, the cornea again was divided into various parts and put on blood agar, or chocolate agar, SDA and NNA and PHA. In histopathology, it was stained for RS, HMB and GMS. Normally, patient once it is diagnosed for Acanthamoeba, we start either PHMB or combination with Coleacetin every half an hour, depending on the response, we decrease the response. Mostly patients are treated as in patients. The patient who did not respond to treatment underwent with keratoplasty. So we had 24 episodes in 23 patients. Acanthamoeba keratitis constitutes 1.1% of all clinically mild keratitis during the period. The age varied from 6 to 73 years. In our cases, nobody was spontaneous wearer, whereas 30% were farmer by occupation and 56% patients belong to lower socioeconomic status. One patient had, that's why 23 patients at 24 episode, because one patient developed acanthamoeba keratitis after 3 months of keratoplasty for acanthamoeba keratitis. The duration was quite long because of late presentation, maybe our cases were severe. The median presentation was 30 days, which ranged from 8 to 180 days. Pain was major presenting feature, followed by redness and receptor lesion. 9 patients had history of trauma. At presentation, 12 patients were treated outside as a fungal keratitis, and 5 patients were treated as viral, and 1 patient received combination of antiviral and 7 patients presented as a typical ring-infiltrated of acanthamoeba keratitis, and 3 patients presented as total coverage and 1 patient presented as a black. This patient we diagnosed initially clinically as fungal keratitis. However, when we did corneal staging, it came out to be acanthamoeba. In fact, we did not think of acanthamoeba, then we did a second staging again was acanthamoeba. And 21 patients presented with visual acuity of less than 25 Although in Western literature, 92% cases has been reported after contact lens use, we did not have presentation of contact lens use. Rather, we have a trauma as a major factor, and 3 patients were using steroid at the time of rehabilitation, and 1 patient is already old, underwent keratoplasty for the primary indication. Out of 24 cases, 18 were positive both on smear and culture, and rest 6 were either by smear or culture. Among 22 who were smear positive, 21 were positive in calcium hydroxide and alcohol, and 18 cases were positive by plasma. Culture was positive for acanthamoeba in 20 cases. In 7 cases, it was a mixed infection. The most common bacterial infection was Staphylococcus along with acanthamoeba, followed by Corymbia. Out of 7 cases which corneal tissue was sent for microbiology, 6 patients grew acanthamoeba. In histopathology, we had acanthamoeba in all 8 cases. In all cases, the epithelium was ulcerated and destructive glomus layer. We had mild purchase glomal infection in 4 cases and aqueous glomal inflammation in 2 and diffuse in 2 cases. In our series, as I told, we used either PHMP and fluorouracil. In 5 cases, it responded to medical treatment. This is one of the cases where it responded to medical harassment. Although it took a longer time, but it responded to PHMP. And 4 cases had large population leading to acute papilloma, and 8 cases required surgical intervention like keratoplasty. And because of mixed infection, topical antibiotic was used in 7 cases. We did not use steroid in any of the cases. PHMP was effective as a medical treatment. The core outcome in our series about many patients required surgical intervention is mostly due to delayed presentation with no severity. In advanced cases, keratoplasty was done. There was a high risk of recurrence if the infection was not controlled. Nowadays, lamella keratoplasty is a better alternative for acanthamoeba keratitis, which is mostly restricted to ocular stroma. And anti-emetic therapy should be used prior to surgery and continue post-operative care. This case we reported in cornea, which was presented with a flat. We did superficial keratectomy followed by medical management and resolved it with not for keratoplasty emergency. Out of 8 patients, 3 patients after 3 months, 1 had recurrence, and 2 patients had grafted after 1 year in rejection. 5 cases grafted clear at the last follow-up. Coming to another parasitic infection we see mostly in the eastern India, it's called microsporidial keratitis. Here has got 2 clinical manifestations. One is keratoconjunctivitis, the second one is glomal keratitis. Keratoconjunctivitis typically present with a diffuse, multifocal, pore disease, elevated from the epithelium, and usually associated with mild to moderate conjunctival condition. and we included those cases which honestly was sent for microbiological evaluation. Compared to superficial keratoconjunctivitis, although it's not very common, and there is no specific typical features prescribed for stromal keratitis. Most of them in earlier presented with the people diagnosed as viral keratitis, and then upon taking it out to microscope. We included the data we collected, the demographic information, disease history, clinical features, smear culture and PCR result of corneal scraping, tissue and conjunctival swab, and treatment outcome. Wherever the patient present with a typical feature, we normally take 10% KOH and endoslide for RAM or GIMSA or modified genomic system, and usually one culture media, either blood agar or circulate agar, to rule out any associated with. As normally microsporidia cannot be cultured in routine culture media, we need PCR for confirmation, and most of the time it is seasonal and invariably thought to be viral etiology, so we wanted to rule out any coexisting adenoviral infection. So honest speaking, we are normally collected in routine grade, and in some cases we collected with conjunctival swab to rule out any microsporidia or adenoviral infection. So this is flowchart shown various steps used for PCR. We collected 42 cases conjunctival swab. They furnished with the swab. And the swab was immersed in 200 microliter EPS and subjected to microsporial PCR. For the stromal keratitis, whenever we send to a therapeutic capacity, again half cornea goes to microbiology and half cornea goes to histopathology. And histopathology to rule out microsporidia or any other organism to pass HMB, 1% first, yes. And again, tissue, if you know prior that it is a microsporidia, we subject to microsporial tissue. Again, the patient thought to either PHMP or lubricant because it is a part of the RCT where lubricant versus PHMP will be a study. So, for few patients got lubricant. And patient with stromal keratitis, we treated with PHMP. If there is no response, they are given therapy. Coming to conjunctivitis, it constitutes a major proportion of all our microbial keratitis. To see we have 394 cases clinically diagnosed microbial keratitis. So you can see the trend every year from July to September the numbers are there. Whereas in winter it is very less. Published in VGO as an epidemic keratoconjunctivitis microsporidia as a cause of microsporial keratitis. The age range, most common age range is between 20 to 40. One patient had a sequential bilateral involvement after a gap of 3 months, and out of all patients, 4 had simultaneous bilateral involvement. In this period, we had only 5 cases of stromal keratitis. We did not see any seasonal trend or cases. Similarly, this patient was initially presented like this, we have presented with viral keratitis, and it comes from the supplementary period, where it was in keratoconjunctivitis, initial symptoms registered as photophobia of pain. All patients have typical clinical features. In some cases, we have target-like lesion, and here there is precipitate. Usually, they present in the second time, not in the first time. Mild stromal edema and keratic precipitate. The duration of symptom in our study was median of 7 days. The most common symptom was redness and followed by watery. Before presentation to our institute, 41.4% were treated with antibiotic and 23% patients were treated with antiviral and 30% patients were treated with plain steroid. In most of the cases, it was region was 25-30. KP were presented in 21% cases, as I told after the initial presentation, and typically resolved with or without antibiotics. The final visual acuity again more than 25-30 or equal to 25-30 in 70% cases. We did not have any recurrence in our series, and none of the superficial keratoconjunctivitis progressed to stromal keratitis. Microsporial keratitis, stromal keratitis, either they present as suppurative or non-suppurative inflammation. Usually the duration of symptom is very prolonged, up and down, waxing and waning course, so between 2 to 12 months. In 2 cases, the primary diagnosis was viral keratitis, and trauma was a risk factor in 3 cases. In keratoconjunctivitis, in 90% cases, we could diagnose in KOH, and Gram in 86.9% cases, and SFCost in 75% cases. We did a PCR, and PCR was for adenovirus was positive in 13.3% cases, and microsporidia was present around 86%. We used a RPS adeno detector to rule out to adenovirus. It was positive in 5.7%. The most common species was Vitiform. So microsporidial spore was present in 4 cases. We reported microsporidial inclusion into antechamber, which is ACH. Therefore, in stromal keratitis, mostly we should plan for educating keratoplasty rather than lamellar keratoplasty. So coming to this RCT, we proved that placebo is equivalent to PHMB. Because the distribution time in PHMB and placebo, there were no significant difference. And debridement, without debridement also reported that debridement does not give a significant advantage over the non-debridement. This is a RCT again between debridement and non-debridement. And all stromal keratitis required. So coming to conclusion, the incidence of acanthomegaly keratitis is low in Eastern India. Trauma appears to be a major risk factor in acanthomegaly keratitis. Eyelid swelling is an exceptional presenting feature in addition to pain, redness and irritation. Patient mostly present in the advanced stage of disease, hence response to medical management is poor. Although keratoconjunctivitis was believed to occur in immunocompromised patients, it is observed more and more in immunocompetent patients. While keratoconjunctivitis is a common disease, stromal keratitis is a rare disease. There is a seasonal trend for keratoconjunctivitis. Although keratoconjunctivitis can be diagnosed by its characteristic clinical features, stromal keratitis are difficult to diagnose. Superficial keratoconjunctivitis is self-limiting in nature. The visual outcome is often good. Debridement does not have any significant advantage in terms of resolution and final outcome in cases of keratoconjunctivitis. Patients with keratoconjunctivitis do not progress to stromal keratitis by performing debridement. Adenovirus may coexist in microsporidia with following reason. Conjunctival swab may be used for the diagnosis of keratoconjunctivitis. Stromal keratitis